In this video, we're going to cover how to adjust caster on your LDRC Drift Car and what the benefits are for it. So I'll start in the front end with this one. So for caster, you're basically tilting the steering kingpin. Usually you want to tilt it back to where the top goes back and the bottom goes forward a little bit. And what that actually does is help to self-center and to return quicker. So when you're drifting and you're making those turns and you want to, when you let go of the steering, it'll return to center quicker and it's more stable, so it helps stability as well. And to adjust that on the LDRC Drift Car, the easiest way to do that would be to move this washer. When you get it from out of the box, this little plastic washer will be in the front. So all you gotta do is take that out and move it to the back. And to do that, you would have to push this pin. See if I can get an angle. This pin right here, push it out that way. Because there's a rough edge to the pin here to where you don't really want to push it this way because it might start grinding out the material that way. So you really want to push it that way. Just get a good tool to be able to do it. So you push the pin out, take the washer out, and then move it to the back and put the pin back in. And that's all you have to do to give a little bit more caster leaning this way. And then, let's see. The lower swing arms, you can't really adjust the caster, so they are the way they are, and there's nothing you can really do. I mean, there is one method you could do, but the way that these wheels are, they're actually centered in the wheel well. So if you adjusted too much caster, it might bring the wheels too close to the edge of the wheel wells and might actually start rubbing on the body. So just that amount of caster is all you really need in the front. And that does help with the stability and then, centering, self-centering and, quick return. So that's all you have to do to adjust the caster in the front. Just that little bit is good enough. Now in the rear, you can do the same thing on the top. If you want a little bit of caster adjustment, just swap this out. It was in the front over here. So I just push the pin out this way, and it's actually easier to push the pin out on the back ones than it was the front. So I'll give you a little bit of a demonstration. So this is what the pin looks like. See that rough edge there? So that's why you want to push it out this way, so this rough edge doesn't go through there and start grinding away some of the plastic, because it's a lot harder to push that way. It's supposed to come out this way because this is what grabs the plastic and holds it in place. So just pop the pin out, grab the washer, move the washer to here, and then push the pin back in. And obviously line everything up correctly. And that's all you have to do to adjust the caster in the rear. And that's only if you want just a little bit of caster adjustment in the rear. That's helpful. What I noticed when you add toe in the rear is that the wheels are actually very close to the front of the wheel well here, and it doesn't really look good. And so the only way to really fix that, especially if you add a little bit of caster on top there, it brings it even closer. So this little bit of caster plus toe in brings it very close to this side of the body of the wheel well right there. So to actually fix that, I did my own mod to where I flipped these swing arms around. So I took the one that was on this side and put it on that side, and vice versa. And let's see, I'll grab this one. So this one used to be the one that was on this side, and you can see where the ball would go over here, it would go further over there if I put it back in the way it was. And when you flip them around this way, it shifts that back to there. So it actually gives you even more caster, so the wheels it's leaning in even more. So you can get a good amount of caster in the rear end to help for stability. And also it'll help center the wheel in the wheel well to where it looks normal. It looks exactly like where it should be in the wheel well. It's not too far forward, it's just right there in the center. So to make this work, you would have to actually cut a little notch out of the plastic, like a little tiny rectangle here for this little plastic piece, because you can see this is where the other one would be if it was the way it came from stock. So that little plastic nub would line up with that little hole there, and that's obviously not helpful when you flip them around. They don't have these things perfectly centered to where you can just swap them back and forth. So you have to actually cut a little notch out there, Same with the other side, just got to cut out a little notch on this side for this one, and then you can pop these in, and then there's no friction, there's no interference here, and these will work just fine, you know, swapped around, and it actually gives you more caster in the rear, and also it centers your wheel in the wheel hub when you have toe in and caster together. So instead of having that wheel almost hitting the front side of the wheel hub. So that's something I figured out, and I flipped around, which you can do if you want. You don't have to do this mod. It does mess with the spring placement a little bit for your suspension, so you have to work that a little bit, because it changes the distance for the spring to go into that little hole that's for the suspension right there. So it's a little bit different. So you got to play with that a little bit and get it right. But once you do, yeah, I'm much happier with this setup in the rear than how it was the way it came out of the box. So if you want a good amount of caster in the back and you want to center the wheel, you have to do the bottom flip for the swing arms. But if you don't want to do that and you just want a tiny bit of caster, all you have to do is flip the little washer from that side to the back here, and that'll give you a little bit of caster if that's all you want. So that's basically all you have to do for caster adjustment on your LDRC Drift Car. I definitely like caster, and of course caster plus camber plus toe, all three of them working together definitely affects the way the car drifts. If you go too much with one or the other, it could mess with it, but if you have them all, you know, tuned correctly, then it'll make your car drift a lot better than it would right out of the box. So hopefully that helped you out. If you have any questions, just let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.